Alright guys, I'm going to give an update. I haven't done much filming today. If I'm being honest, I'm having a hard time like pushing to the finish line with this project and trying to film and be motivated to document this. But to be fair, we've done all the stuff that is interesting, I should say. So all the stuff we're doing now is like really just mundane, tedious little tasks that aren't really that fun to document or talk about. So the car is almost done. I drove it this morning. We worked on it all day after that. Man, I don't even know what we did, just little stuff. We still have a few problems. The right rear caliper is having an issue. I didn't get time to address that today. I have to wire up the heater and run the ducting underneath the dashboard. Oh, the things we did do. My friend Josh Hadlock came over and wired up the turn signals for me. And we spent some time trying to figure out the fuel gauge to the ECU so we could have a fuel reading. And we set everything up and it doesn't work. So I don't know what's going on with that. And I was about to head out and go stop by Seth's shop for a minute, and the car gave me a code for a wideband, which I just barely put a new one in there, and I'm thinking, that doesn't make sense. It was working last night. So I don't fully understand why it decided to act up now, but I was looking at the diagram for EMU Black, and it is different than Classic, and I'm used to doing Classics mainly. The EMU Black shows that you have to hook up RCal. On the Classic, you don't hook up RCal. You just measure the resistance and you enter it into the computer. But on the Black, it looks like the RCal wire has to be there. So I put a wire in and I ran it outside the beautifully set up harness that I already have under the dash, and then I'm going to hook it up to the ECU, and hopefully that makes it so the wideband will work. The other thing is, it's possible something happened because I did, look at that rat's nest. I promise I tried really hard to keep it clean under here. But it's just there's so many wires, and we kind of bundled some of them in certain ways. Anyways, this white wire I added from the fuel gauge. So it comes from the back of the car and goes into input 4 in the ECU to give a fuel reading, and it doesn't work. But in doing that, I had to unplug it and kind of like tug some wires a little bit. I was trying to be careful, but maybe in that process, something came loose. I did go through and check all the pins with the power probe. And the one that had no continuity was a wideband heater. So I'm gonna unplug that, check the heater. I'm gonna pin the RCal, and I swear it better work because I don't know what else to do after that. And I'm tired and I want to go and get a good night's sleep tonight. So that's where I'm at. Sorry I didn't give much updates today. I promise you didn't miss much. It wasn't that interesting. I really just want to start driving it and tuning it and get it set up. It is definitely a joy to drive around, but I want it to be fast, so I want to get it tuned. Really, right now, I'm just trying to put miles on it so I can flush the oil out and put the good oil in it. So that's why I'm driving up to Seth's shop. It's a good 20 minutes each way. I've been letting it idle and stuff, but if I can get enough miles on it where the rings kind of break in and then drain all that junk out of there, then I'll be happy with that. Well, I'm thoroughly frustrated. I messed with a bunch of stuff on the ECU and still have the check engine light. I don't understand why. Why? Check engine, why? It's definitely wideband related, and I added the RCal wire. I checked the heater wire that had no continuity, and it's plugged into the ECU. So I guess I need to do more diag, but everything looks like it's okay as of now, but obviously it's not okay. And I put the old sensor back in, so I know it's not the new sensor, bad out of the box. If I'm going to tear everything apart, I may just upgrade to an LSU 4.9, so that might be the move. I may just go that route. I don't know. Either way, I'm done for tonight. I'm going to hang out with Seth and I'm going to sleep. I really can't believe I'm driving this car on the freeway right now. It just blows my mind that we picked this up out of we dragged it in from the parking lot at my shop and built it to what it is right now in 1 month. It just blows my mind. And now I'm going 75 on the freeway in a car that was sat as a shell Alright guys, I'm up here at Seth's shop, and this guy built his own fiberglass fenders. I can't believe it. And I would never tell this to his face, but it looks really good. Look at that.
I'm right here.
Oh, you're right there. He was talking about making a mold and popping fenders off, but time has not allowed that. So these are just these are layover fenders, and you just gonna have to skim them with some Bondo. We got 24 hours before we need to leave.
Yeah.
And we both still got work to do, but I don't really want to work anymore, so I came here to hang out.
Hey, open that. Break that side skirt.
And this front bumper is from an IS300. It's just cut in the middle, right? And pinched together. Same with the rear.
A lot of other kind of stuff.
Yeah. So an IS300 front and rear bumper, IS300 side skirts, and custom over fender.
Oh, you get to do that whenever you get the chance.
We will
Cool.
have molds and fenders for sale at some point when we get back. But
Stop plugging your stuff on my channel.
hey, I'm doing that for myself.
And then a tube rear. Looks like an FRS.
Don't say that. Try to stop.
Alright, so this fiberglass that we did the other day, that I did the other day, the resin just never cured. And I mixed it really hot. I think my resin's just junk. Cause I had the same problem in Alabama trying to do it. So Kelly's like, oh, let's just peel it off. And I'm like, you can't peel it off. He's like, yeah, you can. If it's not cured properly, you just peel it off. And I'm like, wait, stop what you're doing. I gotta get this on video. Look at that. Alright, take two. Let's try again.
Oh man, I'm about to make a taco.
Ah, that sucks.
Okay.
Dang.
Let's see if we can get that stuff up.
I really don't care that much about this.
Over here.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if you can get it up though. It's actually. What's he doing over there?
Oh, tail. He's so stoked about one tail.
Just leave it.
Okay. We can put a sheet over it. And
I don't
mix
think
it.
we need to. Like, it's pretty good.
Whoa, wait, look.
Bad. Yeah, look.
That's what happens when you mix it just too cold.
Bro,
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
want
no.
to freaking
No,
hear it.
no, no.
I'm telling you.
I'm saying that I've done this before. I'm not saying that you did that.
Also, why is
I'm
it
just
red?
saying that I've had this.
The what?
Why is it purple?
That's what color the resin is. I'm telling you, something's not right with that resin that I bought. And I've got four.
This is 3 years old.
I've got 4 bottles of it.
This is free roll-up.
It's not that
stuff,
old.
bro.
Not that old.
Come on, man.
Alright, I figured out the wideband problem. That was a wild one. When I would unplug the VVTi solenoid, the car would die. It would lose connectivity with the laptop. So I knew there was a power problem. And we actually had that exact same problem with this same wiring harness on Drift Week 2 in my IS300 with the same ECU, all that stuff. So I guess we never properly fixed it. And then it was showing 27 volts on battery voltage. And that's the exact same problem we had before. And we figured out it was a power problem to the ECU. So once again, we had a power problem to the ECU. So I started looking around, shaking wires under the dash, and the ECU would connect to the laptop as I was shaking the wires. So I went to the main power, the constant power, and I tugged on it, and the wire broke in half and ripped out of there. So I crimped a new pin on, put power to it, and it fixed all the problems we had with the wideband and everything. It was all based on that one power problem to the ECU. So battery voltage shows 14, everything's good to go. So now I can finally tune it on my way home from Seth's shop. I was supposed to go home at 1 a.m., it's now 5 a.m. Yeah, so my idea to get some sleep is not gonna happen. All right, today's the final day of preparation to get this car done. I went up to Seth's last night and I was able to drive the car a little bit, fixed a problem I had with the wideband, and then it rips. Like on the way home, it was like really fast, and it's still not tuned properly. So I just saw that it had safe AFRs, and so I gave it a couple rips, and I'm super stoked on it. This is the brake-in oil. Looks like brake-in oil.
Looks clean.
Yeah, that's good. We need to change this tie rod. Can you shake the wheel? I can't hold the camera still. A little bit of play, just a little bit, but that's all inner tie rod. So we're gonna do an alignment today, so I wanted to get that sorted so we don't have that banging around back there. It actually drove pretty good without an alignment. But yeah, just a bunch of little stuff today. Taylor's still working on wrapping this. It's coming out really good. It doesn't look like a fun job. The bumpers.
It's hard.
The doors are a lot easier, huh?
Yeah.
Or I mean the rest of it.
Definitely.
Dang, it's gonna look good. So yeah, we just gotta mount some body panels, wrap the front fenders and side skirts, and Kelly's working on the truck. We gotta take the truck along with us on this road trip. It needs an alternator. Oh man, he's moving pretty quick. Needs an alternator and a start switch. For some reason, the starter stopped working on this thing. The signal from the start, the key to the starter stopped working. So we're just running a switch. That'll also add one extra level of theft prevention. Someone gets in, they can't figure out how to jimmy the starter. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of work today, but everything is actually going along pretty well. Hello guys, I've got a little update on what's going on. Funny story. I was talking to Seth today. Today is Monday, and our plan was to leave tomorrow morning, so Tuesday morning. Seth and I had always had that in the back of our minds. Okay, we're leaving Tuesday morning. So he calls me today. We're both stressed out. Way more work than time that we have left. And so he calls me and says, hey, what day is it? And I was like, what do you mean what day is it? It's the 8th. And he's like, yeah, we don't have to be there till the 11th. And I'm just counting backwards like, okay, it's a 1 day drive. The 8th, 9, 10, 11. Okay, well, why are we getting there so early? And he's like, well, I don't know. I just assumed. No, he tells me, I thought today was the 9th. So he's off a day in his brain. I just had in my mind we're leaving Tuesday. I didn't know what the dates or anything. Anyways, long story short, we got 2 extra days of work now. Available work days until we need to leave. We're leaving Wednesday afternoon, and today's Monday, so a day and a half essentially. That's like amazing, because Seth's like, man, if I only had one more day, and then come to find out we have one more day. So we should both be in a pretty good spot. That allows a little bit of time to like, okay, refocus, relax, get the stuff done we need to, and then we'll be on a good time frame. So as far as what I've got left on this thing, my handbrake absolutely did not work. I think it's just because I have crappy old pads. So I'm gonna steal the pads from my Icon car. They're Stop Tech track day pads. They work really well. I'm gonna put those pads on this car, and then I'm still taking that car, but I'm gonna put the other pads on it, and then if I end up using that car or need it, then I'll steal the pads back, or I'm probably gonna order pads today and have them shipped somewhere on the trip so I can put them in the car at that point. But other than that, I've got a little bit of sanding to do on these fenders to prep them. The front bumper's wrapped, the side skirt, one of them is wrapped, the hood's wrapped. So we've got the rear bumper still to do, and the other side skirt. And then that stuff will all be done. I've got to trim the front bumper support. The bumper that I've got kind of comes up right here, so I just have to cut that out so it'll fit in there. Brody mounted the cluster. We did an oil change from our break-in oil. Just got to pour some new oil in there. Apparently Rotella T6 is out of stock everywhere. Nobody can find it, so I'm not sure what I'm going to run exactly, but it'll have to be something different than what I'm used to. I drove the car last night. It's fast, it runs amazing. It still needs to be tuned, so I'd like to put some miles on driving it around with the self-learn procedure, or the self-tuning function on there. I haven't really used that, so I want to try it out and see how that helps with cruise stuff on the freeway, and then do some full throttle tuning, make sure that it's safe that way. But yeah, just a little update. I haven't filmed a lot today. Like I told you guys yesterday, it's kind of the boring part of the build. Like, it's a bunch of little tedious tasks that aren't that interesting to do. Jake right now is trying to figure out the fuel gauge. We wired up yesterday with 12 volts ground and then a signal back to the tank, and that didn't work. And then Jake's like, well, yeah, you don't need the 12 volts or whatever. So we're trying to figure out what signal that it wants and how to wire up the 2-wire sensor. I thought it was 3-wire, but the 3rd wire you said is for the fuel light.
The warning light.
Yeah, the indicator light. So I guess we could wire that up too. Just a simple on-off light. Maybe that's all I need. I don't need a fuel gauge. I just need the warning light. So we're trying to get that because we actually have an input from the fuel gauge into the ECU. And in the ECU, you can calibrate the voltage coming into it, so you can tell it what's full, what's empty, and then scale it that way. That would be nice because then that'll send the information to the cluster via CAN bus, and then I'll have a fuel gauge on the dash. So it'd be nice if we could make that work. Yeah, that's it. Everything seems to be working. I'm really, really happy with this car. Like, it doesn't happen very often that like something comes together this nicely and it works so well, and like we're having very few problems with it, and it's built to how I like it. And the funny thing about all that is at the end of the day, it's still the budget build car, but it's turning out better than most of my other cars that I spare no expense and just, you know, throw fancy parts at it. This car is working out just as good or better than anything else I've ever done. So I'm really happy about that. I really appreciate all the help. I've gotten so much help from so many friends, and that's kind of what I like about doing these builds is the car aside, all the work aside, everything, it just reminds me like I'm surrounded by a bunch of really, really good people that are always helpful, and reminds me like how cool it is to have good friends around. I'm sure other people know that feeling. So we're gonna carry on, more work to do, but I'm gonna pull the Icon car in and get that prepped a little bit, steal some parts off of it, and make sure that it's ready to go also. And so we can load the trailer up tomorrow. All right, so I'm back at O'Reilly. We're doing our first oil change. We did our break-in oil, and now it's time to swap to the real oil that we're using. What is this? I might use this. I was actually looking at the Mobile One, but some 2050 Valvoline. I think I'm gonna go that route. I was looking at the 1550, but that's a big difference in price. Not that it should matter, but I think this is good stuff. Valvoline VR1. So we're gonna do that. So yeah, instead of spending $60 on oil, I think I'm gonna go with the Valvoline. And hopefully the engine doesn't blow up. All right, so the cost of 2 jugs of oil, $67.98. It's a lot better than $10 a quart for the Mobile One. Hopefully this stuff doesn't make my engine blow up or lose oil pressure. We definitely have more oil pressure with this 2050 in it, which I guess is obvious, but I think last night when I was driving we were at like 2 point something at idle, and now we're at 3.8, so it's over 1 bar higher than it was yesterday. So going from 530 to 2050 obviously makes a difference, but like that's pretty impressive. Good morning, guys. Welcome to another video. Got a few things left to do on the car today before we start packing up and getting ready to go to Drift Week. I decided to take Alta to school this morning in this car before it goes away. I just noticed while driving it, not on the freeway, but just kind of slow, makes a lot of noises that I'm uncomfortable with. But the last couple of cars that I built were so solid and tight because the Toyota chassis. There's a lot of little rattles and things in this car. It sounds like it's falling apart, but I know it's not because I've had enough S13s to know you can have quite a lot of noise in an S13 and still be comfortable that the car's not going to break. It's just not a tight chassis by any means. In fact, the other day we jacked up the front right, and the door and fender started hitting. So we opened the door, it would catch the fender, which it didn't when it was down, and the intercooler pipe like touched the body when we jacked it up. It had so much flex in the front. And this is a caged chassis too, so it must be flexing from firewall forward where there's no tubes. But I'm gonna head to work after I drop off Alton, and then just keep grinding away. Still got stuff to do. I'm not sure if I talked about this, but we had nothing but problems with brake calipers. I know I talked about the first one, but I think I got so frustrated I didn't even bother talking about the other ones. This is how many calipers it took for us to find one that finally works. We got 3 right rear calipers that failed. 2 of them leaked, and then one of them the parking brake cable would stick. And since I'm using a factory handbrake, we couldn't deal with that. So 3 calipers is the casualty of what we did on this car. Anyways, we finally found another good one, and then I had to steal the brake pads from this car, but now the handbrake works and it locks up, so good to go. I had 2 extra sets of pads shipped to Brian in California, so that this car will have extra pads. And then they were actually half worn. I'm surprised how worn they were, because I changed them mid-season on this car this year, and they were already about half life. So they're really, really good pads. Power Stop Track Day rear pads for an S13. And it transforms the car and makes the handbrake work amazing. It must be metal on metal because they just lock up. By ordering those pads, I hope I sponsored Ryan Litteral's program in some small way. Shout out to Ryan Litteral and his program. This is extremely uncomfortable.
That light's dead.
But at least I can see what I'm doing. Oh man. Pop my back. All right, where's the hose?
So this hose.
Wait, we need to tee it, right?
No, it's already teed right off the box right there.
Oh, okay, I see it. Some little wires. Oh, I broke the dash again. I broke the zip tie. Got that new style going on. We just need to mod the fenders, mod the hood to finish off the look. All right, we finally got around to doing the underdash heating and air conditioning stuff. Well, no, I don't know why I say air conditioning, HVAC. The plumbing, there's not a whole lot. I mean, there is a lot of room, but also we don't have a lot of options on where to route. So this had to go under the heater box, goes up to the vents there. And of course, as we were pushing those up into the vents, it just started cracking the upper trim on this thing, which kind of sucks because those are hard to find and this one was in good shape, but it's just such old brittle plastic. Like, you're lucky to get them out non-broken, but then to like keep them non-broken is, you know, they either break coming out or they break going back in. It's like one way or the other. Anyways, everything's looking pretty good. We're gonna run just a single vent to the feet of the driver over there, and then there's two going up to defrost the windshield. So if I had more time and more patience, I would have tried to find all the OEM underdash, what do you call it?
Tube.
Yeah, the tubing, and then just run them through all the stock vents, but I didn't really have the time for that. Nor, like, if this isn't really a street car, it's more of a drift car that we're taking on a street trip. So like, this is temporary. Doesn't even need the heater box other than just for drift week. So, but I've also always wanted to try installing one of these heater boxes. When I found out that Summit sells something like this, I'm like, that'd be so perfect for a race car that needs something in the winter. So anyways, that's all getting put together. We're gonna run a switch to turn the heater on over there. I'll probably mount it right here. It's kind of cool. It comes with the switch in the kit. Oh, I lost it already. Yeah, there's a little switch with like a couple different fan speed positions. Taylor's been working on this front fender. We were just gonna wrap it, but then it's like, well, if we smooth it out, the wrap will stick better. Oh man, that looks really good.
Feels pretty good.
Good job, yeah. So the front fenders are gonna look really good once they're all wrapped. I really need Type 4 fronts to fit these wheels under it. The problem is I've actually got a lot of spacer, like probably that much spacer on there, because in order to clear the brakes, I have to have that much spacer. You can see, like, literally we're like 2 or 3 millimeters from hitting the caliper. So I can't afford not to run that much spacer in there. But the wheels that'll be on the car for drifting will be different. They'll actually fit under there. But if I keep this ride height, I can actually rock these wheels like that. It looks kind of goofy, but these wheels just look so good on this car. How can I not? How could I not do that? jacked the car up early. I think I talked about it. We jacked up from the front tow hook, and we could see everything shifting and like things were moving, and it was not good. So last minute, I just like found some strut bar plates, but we didn't have the bar that was associated with it. But we did have this piece of square tube, well, rectangle tube, and look how snug that fits in there. That's like perfect, and it's steel on steel. And so this is going to be like the strongest strut bar ever made. So we're going to just weld it up, weld it in place. No adjustability, just straight weld it. And if we ever need adjustment, we'll just wallow out the holes a little bit. So that's going to be really cool. Give the car some strength and some character. So next time we have to pull the engine out, it's going to be even harder because there's a big bar in the way. All right, guys, I got to give a huge shout out to Taylor. He has put in so many hours doing the wrap on this car. I never would have been able to do it by myself. He's been here 4 days.
Yeah.
4 days doing this wrap, and it turned out really, really good considering we have cheap vinyl and we have unprepped panels, and they're all broken, and like we fiberglass parts together. And he's like, he's not a wrap guy. He's not a professional wrap guy by any means.
This is his first car.
First car?
Yeah.
And he did absolutely amazing. I can't even imagine. If I tried to do it myself, there'd be seams and patches everywhere, and like, very impressed, very, very impressed. So thank you. Also, Caleb's wife, Lily, a good friend of mine, she came and helped us on the first day, and she did a great job. But it was like, I had no idea it was going to take 4 days. So if he wouldn't have helped, we'd be driving there with half-colored cars and all that stuff. And actually, we were just talking about the back bumper, like the vinyl wouldn't even stick to it. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And we're like, let's just make it happen. And he figured out a way to make it happen. I'm very, very impressed. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Of everyone that helped, I feel like you put in like consistent, non-stop time 4 days in a row, and like very, very helpful. And like the cool thing is doing a wrap has the most visual of everything, right? Like putting an engine in, whatever, you don't see it. Doing all this, you don't see it, but like the one thing that you see on the outside of the car is the wrap. And so like you get major credit for that. So thank you.
Be a part of it.
I want to thank a bunch of people. I don't want to forget anyone. So thanks to Brody, thanks to Jake, thanks to Kelly. This is in no particular order. Thanks to Wes. Those are the guys that work here. I really appreciate. Cole.
Cole works here.
He does work here. He's been in the video several times.
Partially.
Partially.
Yeah.
He wasn't here today, so I forgot about him.
Partially. He wasn't here today.
Thanks to Caleb. I borrowed a bunch of parts from his car. Andrew, he modded the manifold. You guys have seen all the videos, you know this, but I don't want to forget anyone. Josh Hadlock stopped by and helped me with the wiring. Jake helped me immensely with the chassis harness. Who else?
Brody put in tons of hours.
Brody,
just
oh yeah,
doing
yeah,
million
nonstop.
little
Brody's been
things.
coming in after work every day, helping me out with that.
Yeah.
Who am I forgetting?
I think.
Once I say who am I forgetting, to say their name after that, it's like,
Oh no.
But you guys know who you are. Thank you. I hate forgetting people. I don't want to name names for that reason, but like I have to give shout out because so many people helped make this happen. It would have been a 4-week project if it was just me on my own. And I've been putting in time every single day, all day, like, and it still took 2 weeks with everyone's help. So definitely a big project. Don't think this is just like, oh, let's just build a car in 2 weeks. It's not realistic unless you got 40 friends and like the facility to do it and all that stuff. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to D-Spare Garage, which is our business. Everyone that works here helped immensely. I'm going to put the name of D-Spare Garage on this car and call it the end of the video. Thanks, guys. All right, guys. The moment is finally here. The car is done. It's done. It's ready to go on Drift Week. This is the end of the budget build series. I appreciate you guys following along. I've really enjoyed the comments. For those of you that are watching in the future, we've been posting like almost real time. So like I like the engagement in a real time aspect. But being the last video, I hope we get residual views. I hope people watch this, and a lot of people have given me feedback like it gives them motivation to finish their project, which is like, it never even crossed my mind that would do this. But like in all reality, we've been pushing way harder than I would on any other normal circumstances. I've got so many people that have helped make this car come together. It's been 2 weeks since we picked up the first wrench and dragged this car in the shop and started working on it. 2 weeks to get it to this point, which is absolutely incredible. Like to go from literally a bare chassis with no subframes to what it is now. Like I'm absolutely blown away just looking at it. When I drive it, all that stuff goes through my mind. There's a lot of emotion involved with like this build in particular. I've never done anything like this. So anyways, I appreciate you guys and your feedback. I hope it helps other people in the future gain inspiration or whatever that makes you want to do your build. Like, and at the end of the day, like I think we all love building cars. If you're watching this, you're probably a car guy, and for some reason that we'll never understand, we are passionate about cars and spend all our money on cars and spend all our time on cars, and whatever. So please, if you're watching in the future, please leave me comments. I'd love to hear about it. Tell me about your project, what you got going on and stuff like that. We'll probably do one more video that's just a tally of all the cost associated. I don't really have time to go through all that stuff right now and put it in this video, but the final cost. But as of now, the car is done. The only thing left is alignment and getting a tune, but I'm not going to record those things. Those will be on a different series. We're starting Drift Week in a couple days, and so I'm going to shift this video to going on Drift Week. But really, I've told you guys in the past, this car is being built for clutch kickers, but I just happen to be using it on Drift Week. So I don't want people to get confused thinking I'm building it just to go on Drift Week. I'm building it to go to clutch kickers and hopefully win more money than it costs to build the car. That's kind of a ridiculous way to think about it, but like that's my goal. I want to win more money than it costs that I put into this car. I'm hoping we're somewhere in the range of $5,000 or $6,000. I don't know exactly, but when I add it up, we'll see that. But once again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you to the new subscribers who have followed along. I hope to be bringing you more content. It's very, very hard to live a life, have a full-time job, run a business, and still try and post content often. But thanks to my wife, she's been helping out editing the videos, and I hope we can keep that going. We'll be doing it on Drift Week, and then when I get back from Drift Week, we'll probably have videos once in a while, maybe once a week, a couple times a week. But please stay tuned. There will be more on other parts of the channel, but the budget build series is closed. Thank you guys.